I'm just an old man, wrinkled like a prune. I'm just an old man and I sleep until noon. I'm blind in one eye and can't see out the other. One thing I am glad, I never had a twin brother. Nobody wants you when you're all worn out. The ladies want a man that can move about. I sit all day in my old rocking chair, looking out my window, and all I do is stare, watching all the ladies as they walk by, but they don't see the twinkle that's in my eye. Once I was young, trim and fit. Now I'm so weak, I can't even spit. You may laugh at me now that I'm old and gray, but your time is coming, this I will say. When things get wrinkled and too short to use, I'm like an old radio that has a blown fuse. I go to the store, get 10% off, 'cause I'm old. But the real reason is I'm an old fart, I was told. My belly is hanging close to my knee. It seems every 5 minutes I gotta go pee. Had 3 facelifts in the past 10 years. My tear ducts are clogged and I can't shed any tears. My ears stick out too far from my head, they say. I look like I might take to flight some windy day. I'm just an old fart, wrinkled like a prune. I'm just an old fart and I sleep until noon. I hope you like my story that I just told. Remember this, it's no fun getting old.
Hello folks. Well, I'm going to be doing a little bit of work today. I only got a little bit of wood that I have on the picnic table over there. And if you remember that I stopped the replacement wood up to this point because the weather was getting colder and I was going to change all these. Now, the wood that I got with the 2 notches in it basically is solid, so I still got to take it out, so I'll pull that up, but I'm not doing that today. I have to get some wood for that. All these boards here, up underneath here, I looked underneath and there's a little bit of white fungus on some of the boards, but they're solid. There's only one area under here that I was worried about, and the ends of these 2x6s are not rotted. Okay, they're solid. Just a little bit here, okay, on that. So I'm going to put my cardboard down and crawl up underneath, and I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I have to keep this water out here because we're worried about power going out and having to, losing the water too. And, that's what these bottles are for, as I said so many times. So I'm going to go up underneath, and I'll show you the understructure here. It's looking a lot better than I thought. So all this wood here does not have to be changed. Just that one board with the 2 notches that I cut in them. So I get my crowbar and then pull it up. But I got to get some wood to do that. And then right here, there's 2 2x8s. I guess it's Douglas fir, I don't know, but they're very, very solid. And I just put those in there last year. So yes, it's patchwork, but it's holding up really good, and it'll probably be here long after I'm gone. Okay. Now, they're supposed to be pressure treated 2x8, but it's not. It wouldn't do that, but that's solid. So, that's solid. Now you see where I sisted in 2x4s, pressure treated? Well, I just got to continue over to here. Now, other than this little fungus here, which is solid, I poked it and it's solid. It just got a little fungus on it, which I can hit with bleach and that'll kill it. And all the way down, this was the only joist that had to be sistered up. The other ones, yes, I sistered those up too, because they were like rotted on the first 3/4 to 1 inch. So you needed extra long screws to go way down in. So rather than to do that, when I put the new wood end down at the other end down there, I just screwed into the new 2x4s or 2x6s or whatever I had on hand, and used that, and then just screwed this into that. Now this is solid enough to take that. I got to put a screw in this end here because I slid that up underneath from the top. So it needs to be pushed up and screwed in, because this is where the air conditioner is, and I haven't gotten underneath there, under the air conditioner, to bring screws down from the deck into this. Okay? And the reason I didn't do that is because I was going to replace all this wood. But this wood here is solid. It's just that I can't get my other hand in there, so I'm going to have to stick my finger in there. That's solid. That's solid. And there's a little down in the next area here. It's basically good. Remember, this is not pressure treated. This is Douglas fir. So, and this is supposed to be pressure treated, but it's not. I had to jack that up a little bit because for about almost 2 feet down, I couldn't, because I slid it up underneath, I couldn't nail it in there. So I put 3 nails in there, and so I could take the jack out now. So I got to put a piece from here over to here. And overall, this wood isn't too bad. In a few years, it'll probably have to be replaced, but I'm not really going to worry about it. This is always the worst. This joist here always rots out, the one next to the house. And it's supposed to be pressure treated, as I mentioned in an earlier video when I was making putting the new floor in down at the other end there. So basically what I'm going to do now is just put a piece of what's left of a 2x6 to go in here. The part that I messed up on, I've got it already cut out on the bench here, so I got to cut it to length to go from here over to this corner here. Okay, I got to bring the jack over here and jack this up to hold it in place. It's a patch job, I'll admit, but it will outlast me, because overall the wood is in good shape. The end on one of these 2x6s is a little rotted at the end, but it overhangs the joist and it don't go up to the joist, so it should be alright. This here is what's left of that 2x6 that I screwed up trying to rip it down freehand without a guiding edge. So I utilize everything. So I think we're good. You can see the joists here are good. Now this is all pressure treated, but obviously that one isn't. So I got cheated on that. But you can see they're good. You see light coming through down here, and that's because of the notches that I cut out in that 2x6, and that's going to have to be changed when I get my next supply of wood in. So off camera I'm going to fasten this in. Now I nail these in. I may or may not nail these in. I can try. The problem is I'm left-handed and working way out here. I got to use two hands on the hammer to bang the nail in, otherwise I bend them over. And I pre-drill. I always had to do that late in the last 10, 15 years. I have to use two hands on the hammer when I'm banging it in, and even though sometimes I don't even hit the nail square on the head and I bend it over. So I may screw these in. In fact, that's what I think I'll do. I've been using number 10s on those 3 nails that I put in this 2-foot section here. That's a 4-foot piece, but this end here, from where my finger's pointing right there to here, is about 2 feet. So, because I had to slide it up underneath, when I see that gray area there, that's 2 2x8 cinch pieces that are in there, because there was 3 2x6s in there. I took that out and put those in, and I slid this up underneath when I did it last year. So, like I say, this is a patch job. Overall, I don't think the deck is all that bad at this end. Matter of fact, this is a Douglas fir 2x3 that I put in when I put this deck flooring in. Probably, I don't know when I did it, but it didn't last more than 10 or 15 years, and that is holding up good. So we're not that bad, so we'll be back. I got that in nice. I screwed that in with 4 screws. It's good and solid. Don't look good, but the joist is fairly solid. Not quite as hard as I like it, but it's not rotted to a point where you can't put anything into it, screws or nails or anything. So that's pretty much it for that. I'll probably put some screws on the top into this in a couple of places maybe, but primarily that's it. So I want to check on the other wood on the other side here. Let's have a look underneath here. I've already looked under there. This one's bad. The ends on these, that's your latex junk. That's your latex garbage they sell nowadays. This is not too bad. This is the new decking, of course. I'm going to take you underneath here. Now I looked underneath here, and these look much better than I thought. There's a little white fungus on some of them, but they're not soft. So because they're not soft, I'll tell you what's killing me now is my neck when I get out from underneath. Okay, you can see all the weight, but it's solid. You know, that's the old decking. This is the original 2x8. This is the original added 2x8 that was put in when we put the handicap ramp in. And that's the bottom underneath of the handicap ramp. I think those are 2x10s or 2x12s that my cousin Sam, his husband, my cousin Rose's husband Sam, he's a carpenter that did all the angles and stuff on that so it'll meet flush with the ground. That's pressure treated, and so is the 3/4 inch plywood that's above there. And this piece here is pressure treated, and that's the underground feed for the generator. You can see the joist here is good. So that was 2003 when we put these in. These posts were 2003. This was 2003. Now, you can see why I pointed out on the top where it's rotted out. Well, it's rotted out when it lands on this. Over here is the new decking. There's the two 2x4s that I added on that deck project that you saw last year. This is the new decking that goes way up underneath. This is all the new decking. That's the sistered up joist. This joist was in good shape, but just at the very top of the joist where the nails were originally in, where the 2x6s were nailed to, about 3/4 of an inch was rotted, so soft in some places, so I just put a sistered up a pressure treated 2x4. So you can see underneath here it's not all that bad, but what I think I might do is take my jack, put some blocks under it, put it up underneath the bad one, whichever it is, I'm not sure which one it is, and jack it up off of there and replace that. I might do that today. In here. So what I can do, I can jack it up rather than to try to cut it, because I'm going to be cutting into this. I can't even get my reciprocating saw blade in there without messing up the one next to it. Remove this. So jack it up here and jack it up down there, and there's a joist that runs in the middle. Jack it up at that point and pull that right out. And then use this piece. This I was going to use on the railing, but this is bad. And you can see all the saw marks here from the mill, I guess. So this wood is not good for a railing. So what I will do is to cut off 4 feet of this after I get that piece out of there and utilize this. Now the disadvantage of using pressure treated wood when you first get it, especially for a railing, it could warp as it dries. This one had quite a few months to sit here and it didn't warp. So when I do replace that top railing that I showed you, I may have to go to Douglas fir because that's going to be much better. It's not going to warp. And just treat it with boiled linseed oil and hope for the best. Alright, so I'm going to get ready to jack that up. I got to get some blocks so I can get the jack up in there far enough. And I hope I can jack it up off of there without lifting the whole deck. Alright, I don't know if I can do that. These are nailed in pretty good. You don't even know there's nails in there, as I mentioned in the other video, because they're nailed flush, unlike screws. But hopefully it doesn't lift the deck up. If it does, then I'm going to have to cut it up and take it out that way. Well, let's just see if it'll come out at this end by jacking it up. The whole deck is lifting up. I was afraid of that.
Oh well.
I don't want to take any of these others out. It's just this one that's bad. And it's only bad at the very end, and underneath, as I showed you, it was all good. So it's only bad where it goes on the joist. It's not going to go anywhere, but... Alright, we'll have to bring that down. Yep, the whole deck was lifted up there. So, we're going to have to try something else. Let's stop recording now. A whole bunch of... You ain't gonna get that out. Not without cutting it. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Alright. I'll be right back. What we're going to do, I try to save the wood. That's why I wanted to bang it out, and then I could just cut off these pieces where it's nailed in. Because overall the piece is good, except at the last 2 or 3 inches on the top. So, let's see. What are we? Okay, let's see how deep that goes. I have a big crowbar, but I'm not going to be able to get it in between these boards. I could probably jack that up now from underneath. Let me do that. I'll join you in a minute.
I see it coming up.
Yep.
It's coming. Now you can just pull it right out of there.
Alright, keep recording. Oh.
Hey, you got it out.
There we go. Get a close look at that.
Yeah.
Now you see, we got good wood all through here. All through.
Except for the end.
We'll just cut this off and we'll put this in our scrap pile. I gotta watch out for these nails. I'm gonna put it down here. Okay. Alright. Now I gotta clean up a little bit here.
And you gotta get a piece of wood to go in there.
And the joist is good. Good and solid. We gotta clean it up. We'll do that off camera. You go check for Dave. Give me the camera. Alright, record. We got a knot right here. We need 4 feet. We got a knot here. This is not a very good piece. Let's bring it over and see where it ends.
It's right in there.
It should.
You have to cut it though. You have to cut it on the end there. There you go.
Well, it's got a knot here, but it's not all the way through. We got a knot here.
It doesn't matter. You're gonna walk on it anyways.
It doesn't matter.
You're gonna walk on it anyways.
Yeah, I don't like that. Things like that. I got to cut the knot out of here. So we're not going to get 4 feet out of that end either. Now, if I cut this here, past the knot, we're still going to have a knot here. Either way, we're still going to have this knot. Now, I can put it up with the crown up.
That looks better that way.
Oh, yeah, but it's got the saw marks in it. But you know what? The hell with it. We'll do it. Are we up there? My eyes are no good from that distance. Yeah, we're right up against the wood as far as I can get it.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. You can stop recording. Okay, the center joist is gonna be sisted up with this 2x4. Now, because of the joist hangers that are on there, it won't allow me to put the full 4 foot in there. So I had to trim the length off a little bit because the joist hangers wouldn't let this go flush against it. And we're pre-drilling as we always do because we'll bend over the screw. The screw will go sideways or the nail will bend, but we're not using the nail. We're using decking screws here. And marking pens are somewhere else again, probably on the deck. Because what I want to do is to mark circles around these so I can see underneath there where I drilled.
This will make a good video.
Yeah. Probably a comedy video. All the so-called experts out there will say I'm doing it wrong. The poor man's deck repair. That's the way what it is. Poor man's deck repair. I got the right. No. Wrong ones. It's these.
What are those?
Decking screws. These are 2.5 inches. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up underneath there. Put the jack under it to hold it up there. Or I could clamp it either way. We'll do that off camera and we'll get you back on camera. That's if Dave comes, then I have to record by myself here. But Tommy's recording now until Dave comes, Dave's mentor. Tommy's mentor. And so I'll have to do the cameraman and the builder and everything else all together in one. I'll tell you, everything I do, grunt and groan, grunt and groan, grunt and groan. Alright, well, I'll let you know when we're ready. I'll tell you when to record. Alright, as you can see here, I had to clamp it from the top, just doing this, because this joist here has got some cracks in it, and so we're going to use this as the screwing point from all the new ones that we're going to replace eventually, but right now this new one is going to be screwed right here. So I had to hold that like that. I couldn't use the jack. The block was too tall, and I had to work one-handed under there. I physically can't do that. So I'm going to try to screw it from underneath, but I don't know how successful I'm going to be. If I can't, we'll just take this out and we'll just screw it into the existing joist. But I'll give it a try. On this, and we're getting our separation here.
Looking good now.
We're getting our separation here. We're not perfect. We're a little wider here than we are here, but I'm not going to worry about it, because these boards are going to have to come out. This one just got a little bad area, but I'm not worried about it. A little more.
Looks good too.
No, it's not. It's not taking. Not going all the way down. Not going all the way in. I don't know why. Not long enough. This is the new sisted up 2x4. It's why I pre-drill. Still ain't going all the way in. Now I'm going to use nails. I use good old nails. That one went in all the way. I'll take these out and I'll use nails in there. You use a snow shovel, you're going to get hooked on them. That's why I like nails. Okay, that one ain't good. We're going to take these out. I'm going to put number 16 in here on this. We'll come back. Guys, I forgot to ask for galvanized when I was at the hardware store.
Oh well.
When I did this. Sometimes you have to use nails because the screws just don't bite in good.
There we go.
So 16 is good. I didn't have to go to a 20.
Now you gotta do the other end, right?
These are screwed in. Yeah, I'm gonna nail that end. Gotta pre-drill though. I'm not screwing that end. So when you go into old joists, you gotta use nails.
Tiny little hole. There you go.
Well, you don't put big holes in there.
There we go. Now it looks good as new now. It'll last, hopefully.
I'm done today. Can't see the damn nail head. That took good. That's 16 that went in there.
Now you're all out of breath now.
Getting harder and harder to do this. Okay. Now, the 2x4 I put underneath to cistern it, I could not get under the deck to get both arms in. I couldn't get my chest between this and the ground. I couldn't do it. That had a little more room. And the only way I was able to get under that, I have to jack this up, and I'm not doing that. So, that's it. I did more than I thought I was going to do today. So, other than replacing that one board over there that I showed you with the notches cut out in it, which will be done when I get more wood, and the railing, that's it. It's getting too hard for me to work on this. I'll find me dead out in the yard one of these days.
I hope not.
All my blood work came out good, except the A1C is 8.1. It was 8.5 last time. They increased the carb boost to 3 times a day. But otherwise, everything else, all the other blood work came out good. So.
And my A1C is 6.6, which ain't bad.
Yeah, but you're basically diabetic. You're on metformin and what else?
Blood pressure pills.
Oh, you're just on metformin right now for diabetes. Yeah.
It looks good though, you know?
Yeah. Alright. That's it. Thank you for watching.